Thank you, John. Thank you, Sarens, for having me. If you don't know who I am, I'm Father Stephen Vetter. I just took over the vocation director role July 1st, and I'm a parochial vicar and assistant at the cathedral. So when I got my assignment said, in addition to, right? Which means I have 2 full-time assignments, but I'm glad that I can still make it here. So I simply want to thank you for all your prayers, your support. It's really important for me, especially this year, because of my split personality with my assignments. I'm not going to be as visible or as easily accessible as the vocation directors have been for the last 25 years. It's a tremendous gift that we had guys that had full-time assignment just with vocations. So obviously, right, send me your questions, shoot me an email, whatever you need help with, resources, all that. Please continue to do whatever you were doing with Father Dosh and the former vocation directors. Just don't be surprised if I'm gone for a while, right? And it might take me a while to get back to you. But I have an eye on that, and I'll be watching it. Otherwise, you know where to find me. I'm at Cathedral, right? So just come and talk to me there. Couple really practical things. You may have noticed, you may have watched already the new vocation videos for our 8 new seminarians. They're on the diocesan website. If you haven't watched them, you should. They're really inspiring. The men always do an incredible job of speaking. And what I want you to listen for is who inspired their vocations. You're going to be shocked, as we always are. They never name the vocation director. And they shouldn't, because it's not my job to get them, right? It's their pastor's job. It's their chaplain's job. It's the priest that they grew up with when they were 4 years old because they saw him putting vestments on, right? And so that's an encouragement for all of you, right, to keep encouraging your priests and young men in your parish to be open to the priesthood. That's where it begins, right? All of the men will use Father Dosh's name once they started the application, right? And then I went to the vocation director and got the paperwork, right? That's my role as vocation director. And so I simply want to encourage you any way you can. Your pastors, they have an effect, you know? Just as an example, Preston Barbie is a parishioner from the Pro-Cathedral of St. Mary's. He heard the call for the first time when Monsignor Lindemann became a Monsignor. And Monsignor visited his elementary classroom and showed him his new garbs, his new colors that he got to wear. It's fascinating, right? So we don't have to think this is some super difficult thing. We don't have to be discouraged. We don't have to come up with new ideas, right? We simply need to encourage our young men who are capable to consider it, right? To plant the seeds in them and then let the priests do their job. I'm going to do that as well. I already started this last week. My view of vocation work is going to be largely to support my brother priests. I'm putting the burden on them, okay? Especially because I don't have as much time, but because it's their job to encourage vocations. And so I've been giving them a bunch of resources. I've been encouraging them, acknowledging them for all the good work they're doing, and I'm going to expect them to keep doing that. So the new videos are out, the new posters that we hang in the parishes, and the new prayer cards I just approved for print today. And so those will be getting mailed out to all the different groups. If you need any, please let me know. I'm happy to print more. On Priesthood Sunday, I'm going to preach on it at Cathedral. So if you're at Cathedral, you're going to hear a lot about vocations because you're going to be my guinea pigs. And so I'm going to be handing those cards out to every single man, woman, and child who comes on that weekend. So look forward to those things coming out. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess, I went to the National Vocation Director Conference in New York City. 200 vocation directors from all over the U.S. It was really, really inspiring to be there. There are really good things happening in the United States, in seminaries, and in vocation work. So much so that the vocation directors from Canada are coming now, because they don't have anything in Canada. The religious are coming. All the Dominicans from the whole U.S. are coming, because they don't have anything, right? So it's really encouraging to see these, diocesan priests who got named vocation director in their diocese leading the charge in our country. It's a tremendous blessing to be in the Midwest. I'm just here to tell you, the Midwest is where all the strength is. From Texas to North Dakota, that's where all the good stuff is happening with vocations. And that's who the leadership is in the Vocation Director Conference, which is also really inspiring to see these men step up, right? These are guys from, a small farming family in Evansville, Indiana, right? And they're publishing doctorates and developing stuff for us so that we can do what the church is asking us to do for vocations. Really inspiring. One of the things that I took away from that conference was simply this. Who are the men that we are looking for the priesthood? Or religious life, right? Young men and women, same principle applies. For all of you, this is really helpful and insightful. We are not looking for someone who says, I want to be a priest. We're not looking for someone who says, I want to be a sister. Right? Those are easy. Those are going to come up. Who we're looking for is young men who are capable of being priests. What does that mean? They're healthy. They're normal. They're somebody that you would want to take care of your family, right? Anoint your dying loved ones. If they don't meet that mark, don't encourage them. They don't have the capacity, and that's all right, because they still have the capacity to be holy, which is everybody's call. Okay? So I simply say that because our potential for vocations is completely untapped. Even in a place like Bismarck, we're not that good at encouraging men and women who are capable to consider it. And we don't have to do anything more than tell them that they're capable. Right? That you are an enjoyable young man, young woman. You have all the gifts you need to consider priesthood, to consider consecrated life. So please do. Right? That's all it has to sound like. And so one of the things I'm doing here is we're starting a discernment group at all of our Catholic high schools for young men. I don't know why we haven't been. There's 6 or 7 in every single class that are clearly capable, right? And so our chaplains are going to lead them, and we're going to make them commit to 180 days. Obviously, they're going to be free. They got to say yes to it. But there's going to be 180 days they're going to commit to, at the end of which they're going to make a decision. Either to sign up for seminary or close the door and move on. And I think that's going to be a tremendous gift to them. That they don't have to sit in this anxiety and wait and wonder and not just take off with their life in whatever direction that is. So I'm really excited for it. We're going to drop all the resources off actually today. I'm going to go up and see Father Magnuson. So just to be encouraged that way, that when we talk about vocations, we first look at the capability of the man or woman. Are they capable? If they're capable, great. The next step is called freedom. And that happens in formation. That happens in the seminary. That happens at the monastery. So that's largely out of our control. Bishop Kagan and I make that decision. You don't have to worry about that. And the third step, which is kind of wild actually. This third and final step then and only then, after capacity is determined and after freedom is measured, then and only then do we talk about desire. And does this man desire the same thing that the church desires of him, which is to be a priest? So, keep up the good work. Keep encouraging all of our young men and women. But I'm going to challenge you. There's way more out there than you think. And so plant those seeds. Okay? I want to show you something else that I developed. For all of you at Cathedral, you would have seen these because I gave them out at one of the weekend masses as well. They handed out Praying for Vocations, a little pamphlet. I gave some of these to all of your priests. To all of your priests, all of the deacons at our clergy conference. And you know what the priest said? Why is the Vocations office giving us tips on how to pray with suffering? Said, good question. Right? Good question. The reason why is because we have a tremendous opportunity, everyone, to use suffering, which, let's be honest, it's not a mystery. We all suffer. We have an opportunity to use it for the salvation of the whole world, in a particular way for more vocations. So what this prayer pamphlet is it's saying, do you suffer? Yes. I know the answer is yes. Right? Many of you probably have grandchildren, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren who are away from the faith. That's called suffering. And you can offer that grandson, that granddaughter, who maybe you've tried everything else, and of course it's not working. You can offer them to Jesus for an intention like Vocations. And He's going to answer it. Because when we unite our suffering to Jesus' suffering on the cross, everything is changed. That's how He chose to save the world, is through suffering. And so we don't know how to do this that well. That's why it's coming from the Vocations office, right? And because I want to steal all the suffering for Vocations, right? Because you can use this for all sorts of other things, right? It doesn't have to just be Vocations. Unite your suffering to Jesus for your child who's away from the faith. Right? That's what we're all supposed to be doing with our suffering. So I simply give this to you. I have a whole box of them over here. Here's my challenge to you with this. I want you to take like 10, 20, 400 of these. And I want you to go to your parishes. And I want you to talk to your deacon or whoever the person is who's in charge of all your sick, your shut-in, and the nursing homes. Don't make this the priest's problem, because he's already overwhelmed. Go to the person who oversees that, get the list from them, and go visit those people and beg them to offer their suffering for Vocations. Give them a purpose in their suffering. Right? It's not for nothing. Our nursing homes are the greatest potential for grace in our diocese. They have all the time in the world and they have tremendous suffering. And there's hope in that. But we got to tell them. So, I simply offer that to you as something to do very practically. You're already doing that. You're already visiting your friends, your families, your loved ones, those sick and shut in, people who are abandoned. Take them something like this, take them a resource like this, and teach them about prayer. Teach them that it can be used, even their most terrible sufferings can be used for something like Vocations. And then, as one of the good parishioners at Cathedral told me, if that actually happens and we actually do this and people actually offer their sufferings, then I'm going to be nearing a breakdown of how many vocations we're going to have. Right? It's real. It's real. They are going to come out of the woodwork if we actually do this. And so, please consider it. We've done it before. Many, many years ago, they did a similar sort of thing. And yeah, the fruits are very clear and apparent. So it's really simple. Take a look at it. If you need more, please ask. A couple of the priests are going to preach on it as well. It's like Father Waltz at St. Joe's. He's going to preach on it for a whole weekend and hand them out to everybody. But I have more than enough copies, so I'm happy to give them out. It's funny, after I preached on it, you know what I thought when I went back home? I don't offer my suffering. There's all sorts of stuff at Cathedral that I suffer. There's all sorts of things as a priest that I suffer. Right? I got to learn it too. Right? So, take it home, use it, share it with everyone else. Finally, I just want to say a word about our seminarians and about our seminaries. It's such a gift to be part of these young people's lives and to get to see the excitement, the joy, the enthusiasm of a new vocation. And so I simply want to try to articulate that to you, because you might not get to see it, but it's real. Right? These young men, young ladies that come and see me, they really do want to give their life to something meaningful, and they want to give it to Jesus, whatever he's asking of them. And so your support, especially by way of prayers, but when they're home, right? Your support of just going up and shaking their hand, right? Introducing yourself, making them feel like they're part of the community is really important, because they need that to be able to decide, is this community worth giving my life for? Right? So any way that you can help them that way, I know you're already good at it, writing them notes, right? Encouraging them, saying hello when they're back. Keep doing those things, because it helps bring them clarity, especially for diocesan priests, right? Because diocesan priests are called to serve people in a geographic area. My call to priesthood is not to serve people in Minneapolis. It never will be. It's to serve the people who are in the Diocese of Bismarck, whoever that is. And so it's important that I get to know you, right? So I know who I'm going to lay my life down for. Are there any questions that you have for me? Anything around vocations? Anything around materials? Amy, as Amy said, she has all the contact lists. If you haven't considered it, or if maybe you're looking for something just to put on your heart, I would say the guys get a tremendous amount of support from all of you, from our faithful people, from our Catholic schools, right? The kindergartners write them their little love notes. Like, they're getting enough, you know? But you know who doesn't get anything is their parents. And some of their parents are struggling. They don't want to give their son up. And actually, they think their son might be kind of crazy. And it causes them anxiety, like wildfire. And so anything you can do, right? Because for me to go to the parents is one thing, but I'm the authority, right? I can't enter into a relationship with the parents the same way that you can. And so if you know these parents, if you see them at Mass, if you have a desire to write them a quick note about an encounter that you had with their son or daughter, please do that. Because as we know, the vocations start in the family, and they're going to be supported in the family or not supported. And we want all of our young priests to have the support of their family. It's so much healthier and better for them.
Father?
Yeah.
Are you also vocation director for women? Or just the men?
So so technically speaking, it's actually helpful to say these things, right? Technically speaking, the bishop is the vocation director for the diocese. He delegates all vocation work to me, which means I do have oversight insofar as Bishop lets me have oversight of our female religious. What does that mean? It's different with every group, right? So you might know that there's a new group of Oblate, Benedictine Oblate sisters out at University of Mary. Monsignor Shea is their superior, and so he oversees it. Right? The St. Mary's sisters, Bishop Kagan started them. He's their superior, right? And so he oversees that and delegates it to Mother. But with other groups, consecrated women, virgins, they all have to meet with me for some sort of what is your program going to be, and I have to show that to Bishop Kagan. So it's different for each group. We're unique because we have these new small groups, so I do have to play a role, right? But for the Benedictine sisters at Annunciation Monastery, or for the monks out at, well, they have their own resources, and they have their own vocation director and some program they follow. So I don't have to be as involved with those. Yeah, Marlene.
How are the men that want to pursue a vocation, how are they allocated? I guess I finally noticed that this year because like Joseph and Ronan, they went to UTC, and then some go to Kenrick, and then some are, like my grandson is at Kenrick, but he's in the gallery part of it, which is the college, because he just 2 years out of high school.
Sure.
So where are they sent and why?
Yeah, how are seminarians sent to the place that they're sent, and why? The answer is actually twofold, and they're both pretty simple. So first, the bishop makes the determination of where they go, period. That's just up to the bishop. Which seminary they go to, though, is dependent on what the seminary is capable of. So Glennon Seminary, we have 2 guys at college there this year, Nolan Johnson and Paul Vetter. Glennon Seminary is only a college seminary. They will not teach theology, right? Which is why they have Kenrick then, which is a separate institution. It's in the same building, right? But it's a completely separate institution with its own faculty, its own curriculum, all that stuff. So depending on where the guy is in his journey, if he needs college, he's got to go to a college seminary. If he already graduated college, then he goes to a pre-theology program, which only exists at certain seminaries, right? So we're also very limited in which seminary we decide to send to, right? So there's only a handful of pre-theologies out there. And so you say, well, Bishop, this is the situation we're in. The guy already has a college degree. Where do you want to send him? You know? And then he makes the determination. Does that help? So just by the fact of where the guy is, age, his education, that determines where he's going to go. Right? The only one that would have more freedom is the theology, the final 4 years, the configuration we call it. And then, yeah, you could go to any theology seminary, which there's a good number of them, right, including Rome.
Do they use the universities in St. Louis for any classes?
Yeah, St. Louis University is the university where they study philosophy.
Because they can't provide it.
Yep, because they don't have the faculty. Yep, that's exactly right. Just like Washington, D.C. uses Catholic University of America for their philosophy. Any others? Well, thank you all for your time. Hopefully I didn't drone on too long. Keep praying for Vocations as I know you do. Keep praying for me in particular. I'm going to be flying a lot. And pray for our new men. They're really wonderful. So God bless.